Hello everybody, this is Sarah Harnish. I'm a Young Living Diamond and I'm the author of Unstuck, How to Talk to Humans and Get Them to Respond to You. And this is day 5 of boot camp, but I want you to know that you're not late. Like if you might be thinking, okay, you know what, I missed the first 4 days or I haven't watched all the videos yet, so I don't think I can do this boot camp. I'll just have to jump in some other time. This boot camp doesn't work that way. We're training on skills. So this isn't something where, if you learn the art of listening to somebody, then you cannot learn how to collect contact information. So you can pop on anytime, and every single video that you get is going to bless your socks off. It's going to give you some new ideas. So every day, you might have noticed, I'm posting a link, and that's the link to the video from the day before. So you can snag those, pop them in your business groups, and it's just going to be awesome training for your team. So don't feel like you're behind, because you're never, ever, ever behind. I'm so honored just to get a little bit of time with you every single night. So this is our last night for this week. Saturday and Sunday, you guys can take a nice big breather, be like, okay, I've made it through this, the first week of this intense boot camp. I'm doing great. And if you want to get caught up on the reading, that's great. If you want to dive deep into a worksheet or two, that's wonderful. But you know what? If you don't, it's okay. It's all right. The book and the workbook are there forever. The videos are collected on my website. They're there forever. Don't feel like you have to keep pace. But boy, do I love hanging out with you guys live. And we've had a couple dozen people win contests already, and that's always a ton of fun. So I'm really, really grateful for the time that I have with you. So in day 4, we covered why people don't respond to you, and we covered the art of listening and what the steps are and what it actually looks like to sit down and have that conversation and build a relationship with people, even with a total stranger. And all of us know how to listen, but sometimes we haven't taken those extra steps of training in how to dominate the conversation. And so letting them lead the conversation allows you to pour into them. It seems backward, but it really, truly isn't. It's wonderful when you learn that skill of listening, how that's going to bless your business and bless them as well. We hit on this a little last night, but I just wanted to revisit it for you because it's so crucial in understanding the importance of listening to humans, because this is why we shut network marketing off, because we think that every no is about us, and it's not. It really, truly isn't all about us. Most of the time, it's actually not about us and has nothing to do with us at all. So why don't people listen? It's not always about you and your failures, though we think that in our head. It might be because they're busy, right? It's not always because they're saying no to you. Like, just because they say no right now, that no doesn't necessarily mean no forever. So you got to just keep moving and keep dropping those seeds with them. They might be distracted. They might be overwhelmed. They might be amid a major life event. They may not see the value of oils yet. They just don't understand their worth. And so it comes down to education. They may not be emotionally or physically in a place to be able to learn something new, even though that desire for clean living truly is there. There's 10,000 reasons for silence. So you can't look at that and say, okay, well, it's all on me and they're not interested, so bam, they're off the list. We cross so many people off the list that shouldn't be off the list, on our list. So just keep seed dropping and loving on them, and God will open that door just a little tiny crack because of your persistence, your faithfulness, your dedication, your generosity, your compassion, your authenticity. They can only say no for so long, and they're going to get to a place where they're like, you know what? This person actually truly, really cares about me, and I need to listen to some of the things that they're saying because they have my best interests in heart, right? So tonight's topic is chapter 13, 14, and 15. I told you some nights we'll do 1 chapter, some nights we'll do 3 or 4 chapters. It's not based on the number of chapters, it's based on the number of pages. So we're covering about 85 to 90 pages a week. It's about 10 to 12 pages of reading a day, but you don't have to stay caught up on the reading to catch the videos. So you're doing great just by being here. You're doing great if you're watching a replay. This is not a kick your face in boot camp. We just kind of take this at the pace that we can. It's a really big book. There's a reason Unstuck's a big book. It took me 3 years to compile all of the research to be able to put it into this type of a format for you guys. It was over 8,000 interviews. So whenever somebody had a kit sale, I said, what did you do that got you the kit sale? And then I compiled that data into this book for you so that you had everything in one place, just like Game Plan, everything in one spot. So we got some really cool things to talk about tonight. I'm very stoked about it. We're going to hit on how to collect people's contact information in a non-creepy way. You're telling me to do things I've already tried. So for those of you that have done this business for a little while and you're just feeling a lot of desperation, you're feeling like you're hearing things you've already heard and you don't know how to implement some of the things that you're hearing and you still feel totally stuck, we're going to hit on that tonight. And then we're going to hit on fear. And fear is a liar. Fear is a big topic. So I brought out the big wigs for oils tonight because I really, really wanted you to have my very, very best when it comes to oils. So this is my number 2 oil. Last night we went with my number 1 oil. Today we're going with my number 2 oil of all time, which is Northern Lights Black Spruce. I've got it with all my tree oils. People ask me all the time how I organize my oils, and I'm an aromatherapist, so I organize them by how I use them. And I keep all my tree oils together because I know what tree oils do, right? They serve much the same purpose. So Northern Lights Black Spruce is an amazing oil. I'm going to give you a little bit of quick aromatherapy training on it. But if you've got that with you, this is my courage oil. This is my scaredy cat oil. Whenever I speak, I'm going to be speaking in Texas in a couple of days for the beautiful Shelley Garrett. And just whenever I speak, I put probably 100 drops of that oil on my body, no exaggeration. I am dropping it on my neck. I'm putting it on the bundle of nerves right at the back of my head. I'm dumping it all over my feet. I have to be careful how much oil I put on my feet when I speak, because I've had times where my feet get so oily that they're sliding around in my heels and I've almost slipped right off the stage because I put so much oil on my feet. But I cannot overdo it on this oil. Like this in Valor, it's like, whoa. So a little bit on it. This is what Young Living says about it. This beloved Canadian oil reflects the character of the trees from which it's derived, echoing their resilient, deeply rooted strength enhanced by the natural challenges of the environment to grow ever taller and dignified, reaching upward to the energy of the dancing northern lights in the sky. The fortitude is evident in the aromatic character of the distilled essential oil. Now, I had the honor of listening to Gary talk about this oil when we were at the Northern Lights Black Spruce Farm for Diamond Retreat. It was my very first Diamond Retreat, and to get to go there with my second favorite oil of all time was like a huge, huge honor. They actually put us all on planes. They chartered airplanes and flew us to Fort Nelson, which it's really hard to get to. It's very remote. And we went in, and Gary was telling us the roots go very deep into the ground. And so on the worst days in the middle of the winter, some of these winds can be 40, 50, 60 mile an hour winds. It can be minus 80 degrees with the wind chill. And yet these trees, because their root systems, they are like immovable. They got very short growing seasons in the summer, and yet their root system is so strong. And he said the strength of that tree and the resiliency of the Canadian, North Canadian winter. I mean, we're talking, this farm is literally in the Arctic Circle. So it's got permafrost and all sorts of stuff up there. But to have that resiliency is carried from the plant to you when you are putting it on. It's almost like you can feel the winds roaring through those spruce forests and know that those trees are strong. And so I just love that story. I've got some pictures of being up at the farm, and as soon as I'm done with this boot camp video, I'll post them for you guys so you can see what that farm looks like for yourself. Tucked away in the isolated boreal forests of British Columbia, the Northern Lights Farm has been producing Northern Lights Black Spruce essential oil since 2015. The farm was a labor of love for Canada's Royal Crown Diamonds, Ben and Carol Howden, and I love them so much. They are some of my favorite diamonds. I tell you that every diamond is my favorite diamond, but I love Ben and Carol so much. They're just really good people. And Ben worked shoulder to shoulder with Gary out in the middle of the winter. The Canadians thought he was nuts laying the cement for the distillery and everything in the middle of the winter, but they needed that oil to be able to produce Valor, which was out of stock. So they worked through the winter to be able to get this distillery up and running. And thank the Lord that they did, because we went without Valor for a while. But now we have a wonderful source of black spruce trees. But they worked tirelessly in frigid temperatures to give the world a source of of black spruce that was untouched by synthetic chemicals and fertilizers. Corey Howden, who is Ben and Carol's son, he's an amazing man. I have an interview with Corey that I can post that'll make you tear up and cry because I interviewed him when I went up to the farm. But he is now the Northern Lights farm manager, and he carries on the legacy. And I asked Corey, I go, why do you do what you do? Like, you are so gifted. You could work anywhere, and you're sitting here in this remote, like, Arctic Circle farm with permafrost and crazy winters, and you're built, like, you're bringing the harvest in for Gary. Like, I don't understand. Why do you stay here? And he said, I can't repay what Young Living has given to me. Like, these oils have completely changed my life. And so if by me staying here and distilling this spruce helps Gary in any way and helps Young Living in any way, he goes, I feel like it's a tiny, tiny, tiny thank you for what they have already poured out upon me. I mean, that interview is going to make you bawl your eyes out. So I'll post that as well. He's a really good man, and the Howdens are great people. All right. So yeah, so where should you use it? Steam distilled from the entire spruce tree. That's kind of unique because a lot of the times we just take parts of plant. People have asked me, well, what makes our cinnamon so good? And I said, well, you know, a lot of times they're distilling cinnamon leaves, but the most powerful part of the plant is actually the cinnamon bark. And so Young Living will go in and they look for the strongest part of the plant that has enacts the most change on the human body, and that's what they distill. Now, in the case of these black spruce trees, they're actually distilling the whole thing. If you've seen these trees, I mean, we're talking the whole trunk, like all the needles, all the branches, like everything. It's pretty amazing. So it's not just the needles, they take the whole tree and put it in the chipper. It's grown at the Northern Lights farm in Fort Nelson in British Columbia. That's a farm you guys can go see, and I recommend that you do that because, man, sitting on top of those wood-chipped black spruce trees and just breathing the air in up there, like the air is different. It just smells different up there. It's amazing. So this oil supports your endocrine system, your respiratory system, your muscles, your emotions. I recommend you put it over your adrenal glands. So if you're not sure where those are, if you take your thumb and you put it on your hip bone and you just spread your fingers out kind of around your back, right between these two fingers 4 and 5, that's where your adrenal glands are. They sit right on top of your kidneys in your back. And that's a really good place to put this oil. Also, because it supports your endocrine system, right over here, over your thyroid, parathyroid. You can use it as a chest rub, use it when you're working out because it's a tree oil, so it's going to help those muscles feel really good. And of course, diffuse this because this has got wonderful properties for emotions and processing. I told you it's one of my courage oils. So you guys have asked me what I use when I speak, and we'll go into depth on that when I go into the 101 class training. But a couple of my favorites are Valor, Northern Lights Black Spruce, and Genius, the Kid Sense oil. I actually just love that oil. So let's jump into 3 chapters. I've got 8 minutes left on this video. 3 chapters tonight. We're going to talk about how to collect contact information. You're telling me to do things I've already tried, and then I want to spend a few extra minutes just on the topic of fear with you guys and how to get over that place of fear. Because how could you build your business? Like, how well would you build it if you opened the door and every single person you saw, you were not afraid to talk to them? Like 100% of the people that you saw on the street could be on your team. I mean, I think about the people I just saw today. I was in Panera, I had a salad. We just signed our kids up to do this amazing art conservatory on Mondays, and my little homeschoolers are so excited to be able to go one day a week and do theater and choreography classes and be in James and the Giant Peach and Roger and Hammerstein's Cinderella and all that. They've already made a network of friends, and we've only had one day there. I think about all the moms I just met. I think about the office staff that I just saw just today alone. There's probably 15 people I could assign to my team. So, but the issue is I can't be afraid. Like, I've got to have that boldness to speak into them and stand on top of how I think they're going to perceive me so that I can reach in and help them and change their lives and change their families' lives for the better. I've already got a list going in my head from the people I met today. I'm like, shoo, the whole city of Greenville, South Carolina is going to be on my team by the time I hit Royal Crown Diamond. I'm going to get every single person in this town on my team, right? So we're going to start with chapter 1, which is collecting contact information. And I want to focus on total strangers because you're not afraid to collect contact information of your friends and family, right? But you might be very afraid if it's somebody that you do not even know who they are. So you're okay handing out an oil sample and a purple bag and sometimes even talking to them, but the minute you have to ask for something back, that's when it starts getting uncomfortable. Then you're like, what? No, I just met them. Like, it's a Walmart cashier. I don't even know who they are. They're going to think I'm a creepy creeper. I don't want to do that. right? And that's when it's like, oh, I don't really want to do that. One of my really good friends, Judy, wrote me yesterday and she said, I've always had a problem saying sales, like sell the starter kit to them. We're in the business of helping people, and that is so very true. You'll hear me use the words interchangeably because we do actually do sales. Like that's who we are. That's, we're a network marketing company that does sales. But you don't have to process it that way, okay? You don't have to process it that way. Somehow, that fear of being a salesperson melts away when you realize that the products that Young Living makes are for their own good. Your entire mindset just shifts, right? So focus on education. Focus on being the need meter. You've heard me talk about that. You're the master need meter. And that's going to take the fear out of contacting people. You're checking in, you're serving, you're training, you're in the business of changing the course of lives. So I just had that meeting with the school that we're going to put the kids in one day a week. And the minute that I left, she sent me an email with everything we talked about. Hey, your kids are going to want to wear black pants when they come so they can do the choreography classes, and make sure they pack a lunch and bring a water bottle. And did I feel like she was being salesy to me? I mean, they're in the business of sales too, the school. I get to pick which classes I want them in, how much I'm going to spend, and all that. They didn't push that on me, but she just recapped everything and just touched base with me and let me know she was thinking of me. And that really meant a lot to me. Like, I have her contact information. I know I can reach out if I need to. So it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. So I want you to shift that mindset from sales to helping people, right? To educating, to training them on a clean living lifestyle. Like, gosh, guys, we were in the dark when we started this thing. We were totally in the dark. And we've made a huge shift in our personal care products, in our makeup, in our food, in our, what we use medicinally in our home. I think about colds and flus with my kids, and Young Living is part of my arsenal for helping my kids get over colds and flus. So, I'll make up a big, huge pot of bone broth, but you bet your bippy, I'm also flipping them over and dropping the raindrop oils on their bodies. I'm making them little sinus bombs with vitality oils, and we're hitting that every hour. They're upping their dose of Ningxia. I might do some activated charcoal with them. I might get them in a bathtub with some Epsom salt in it, maybe 10, 20 drops of lemon oil. But it's part of the protocol that we use. And so I'm not running down and grabbing stuff with 15 dyes in it, and preservatives and garbage and sugar. Sugar is going to make them sicker longer, right? That feeds the illness. But 10 years ago, my philosophy on colds and flus was the brat diet, right? We gave them bread, we gave them ginger ale, we gave them Jell-O, we gave them saltine crackers. Guys, that's disgusting. And that does not help them get over their cold. Gluten does not help them get over their cold. Sugar does not help them get over their cold. Dyes and garbage definitely doesn't help them get over their cold, right? And so I've just dramatically shifted the way that I take care of my kids. Michelle asked, where did I learn to do aromatherapy? Well, I went to 6 schools, so I'm a 6-time aromatherapist. I don't like to talk about it because I think I'd be a Royal Crown Diamond right now if I didn't do that. And I'm very passionate about training people how to get out of poverty. Probably because I spent 12 years in the projects. So my number one goal with you is to get you out of where you are financially and get you a willable income and a legacy income you could pass down to your kids. And aromatherapy certifications do not do that for you. So you'll hear me talk about that a little bit later on. I do believe in continuing education and reading and learning, but I actually withhold the education from myself until I hit certain milestones in my business. It's a discipline for me because I will go all in. Like, I will do all the schools and all the training and all the things. And it's a distraction. It doesn't keep my baby safe, right? Those certifications and learning about genus and species do not make sure that if something happens to me, my kids have a check coming in. I feel very strongly about that. So when you have your life in the right order, God, spouse, kids, work, right? And training, aromatherapy training would fall into that category, even under work, I would think, because that's desire. That's not even work. Then the Lord's going to bless the work that you're doing with your business. He really, truly is going to bless it. So I'm not going to tell you where I did my training. Maybe I will when I'm a Royal Crown Diamond. You know what? When you're a Royal Crown Diamond, you come to me and then we'll talk about where I did my training. But for right now, focus on building that income for your family because that's so important. Every single desire you have, you got to put that on a box, put it on a shelf, and you do the things that grow your business to take care of your family because that's way more important than anything else. Way more important, right? Okay, so back to collecting contact information. We were talking about you're the master need meter, right? And you're going to take all that fear out of contacting people. You're checking in, you're serving, you're training, just like that woman was with me when she sent me the email this afternoon. You're in the business of changing people's lives. So how do I physically collect their contact information? I usually don't just go in and write for the phone number, like right away. Kayla says, I'd love to be aromatherapy certified. You don't, like, why though? Seriously, all right, I didn't want to go over this tonight, but you've got me intrigued. Why do you want to be aromatherapy certified? Because honestly, most of what I've learned it from opening reference guides, playing with the oils, getting on people's bodies. 90% of what I've learned, I'm a clinical aromatherapist. I'm medicinally trained. I'm raindrop trained. I'm all the trainings. I've done all the trainings. I did international certifications. Do you know what? I learned 50 times more by opening the reference guide and getting it on people than I ever did by having all the letters after my name. Do you see any letters after my name on my books or on my website or anywhere? I don't even publicize any of the information because I don't want you guys to go that route. I feel like if I set that example, then you're going to copy that and then you're not going to have freedom for your family. And that's me pushing you away from your freedom and not pulling you toward it. The only reason we want aromatherapy certifications is so we've got all those titles after our name and we can stand up and say, well, I'm Sarah Harnish and I'm certified in da-da-da-da-da-da. What is that going to do to your leaders? You're going to scare all your leaders off because they think that they have to go do that to build their business, right? I bet you anything. You go get all of that. Why did I do all the trainings and certification? Because I was brand new to network marketing and I thought that's what it took. I made every mistake in the book. That's why I wrote Game Plan, because I want to save you guys the mistakes. When I look at what actually got me to Diamond, none of those certifications got me to Diamond. None of them. None of the knowledge and training at all got me to Diamond. Reading the script, 288 times, that's what got me to Diamond. And now I've taught another 500 classes since I hit Diamond. Doing that is what's building my Crown Diamondship, not sitting down and taking tests and reading books on genus and species and memorizing scientific names and botanical names of plants. How does that build a willable income for my kids? That's here. All the letters after my name are down here. For me, that's an ego thing. Having all that stuff after my name gives me some kind of notoriety to speak into people. You know what? People are going to trust you because you're a mom. They're going to trust you because you take care of your kids in a natural way. They're going to trust you because you care about them and you're authentic and you're raw and you're real. They're not going to trust you because of all the letters after your name that they don't even know what they mean. All right. And that's just a raw truth. That's coming from somebody who has all the letters after her name, and it hasn't done anything for me. It really hasn't. You're going to get just as much information reading the first 100 pages of any reference guide out there than you are sitting there for 6 months and doing book work and taking tests. Okay. So that's just my personal opinion. Being on the other side of it, I know what it took for me to build a Diamond. I know what it took for me to get all those certifications, and the certifications did not equal my freedom. What equaled my freedom was loving people, pausing on all the things I wanted to do and setting those aside and loving people. That's what got me freedom. If you are not teaching classes, you are not going to rank up. You're not going to rank up, and all those other things are distractions. They're going to cost you so much time that you might think this doesn't work, but it does work. Network marketing does work, or we wouldn't have thousands of people holding rank right now across Young Living. It wouldn't be a $2 billion company if it didn't work, right? It does work, but only if you're doing the things that actually grow your business, and certifications don't. It didn't teach you anything about how to use oils. I learned 20 times more just applying it. I swear to you, Kayla, with everything in me, I learned 20 times more just getting the oils on people's bodies, opening up a reference guide, looking things up, playing with this oil, playing with that oil. If you're not playing, you're not learning. You're going to learn more there. Okay. All right. People are telling me squirrel. I need to get back on my training. What do I mean reference guides? I'm talking about if you go to discoverlsp.com, you go to Life Science Publishing, they have pocket reference guides. They have desk reference guides. There's some wonderful resources on Amazon. There's a whole world out there just in the internet. Okay. But don't put your attention on those things. Google something real quick, get the answers that you need, and then move on. Losing 6 to 9 months of your life by reading a whole bunch of stuff, it's really not worth it. It's not. What's going to happen is you're going to end up sitting there at STAR for a really, really long time. Okay. Sarah says, I've started studying aromatherapy because I feel it offers me more credibility in my circle of influence. Well, all I can say is when I look at the people that I signed, I can't find any people of the 500 people I personally enrolled that says, Sarah, I enrolled because you are an aromatherapist. They said, I enrolled because you helped my son when he was sick. I enrolled because I had rotator cuff surgery and you recommended Coolazole pain cream and it helped me. And so I enrolled because of that. I enrolled because you listened to my problems. They didn't say anything about all those letters after my name. All I can tell you is the experience that I personally had, guys, and I'm telling you that's a rabbit trail. It's a rabbit trail. It's going to cost you a lot of time ranking up. All right. Okay. So back into collecting contact information. So I really want to get to fear tonight. So I really pray that gives you guys some direction. I think we do hit a little bit later on in Unstuck, but it's a distraction. And it's a distraction that could cost you everything. So stay focused on the goal. Do not lose sight of where you're going, okay? And back to contact information. So how do I collect contact information? Usually I'm not going to just dive in for the phone number right away, especially if it's somebody that I don't even know, like a Walmart cashier, and I'm not going to just jump right in with total strangers. But I might say, hey, I think that this is the answer that you're looking for. Would it be okay if I Facebook friend you? I just want to touch base with you a little later on and make sure that you're okay. Would it be okay if I add you on Instagram? You know, sometimes I'll hand them my phone and say, hey, would you mind popping your information in here for me? And I let them choose what information they want to give me. Total stranger, usually it's Facebook. I have literally never had anybody tell me no to adding them on Facebook because there's this safe distance there. Like if I feel like a creepy creeper to them, they're just gonna block me when I walk away. Ain't no thing, right? They're just gonna block me. It's like there's a safe distance. They're not giving me their social security number and their firstborn child, right? It's social media. Like they could just put, unfriend and block me. Not a big deal. And sometimes if I just really hit it off with a waitress or something in a restaurant, they will give me their phone number right away. But usually I just start with Facebook, and then as soon as I walk out of the store, I screenshot their name. I can go back into my screenshot images and find them when I get home, and then I send them a quick message and say, hey, this is Sarah. I am the creepy oils lady that talked to you in the checkout line, and you're just on my mind, and I hope that you had a better day coming out of work. It's that authenticity, that rawness, that realness that's going to draw them to you. And so page 74 in chapter 13, I give you like a gazillion examples of what this looks like. And for the sake of time, because I off-wrote it a little bit there talking about aromatherapy certifications, I'm just going to have you go check that section out. I don't need to read it to you. You guys have a book and you can read it yourselves. But, sentences like, I just want to make sure you're okay. Or I hope that the day turned out a little better for you. I know you were missing your son's birthday, and that is rough. That's really rough. I worked in retail for 12 years and I know how that felt. People just want a listening ear. They just want to know you care. They just want to know that you're the answer, right? So be that answer for them, even if it's just as far as just listening to them and listening to where they are. So if you've taken the time to listen, the majority of people are completely okay with me adding them. I don't need to be a creeper. And then you work on the relationship with them. Maybe it's not oils right away, right off the docket, right? And I do that by running them through a funnel so that I know where I left off. I track where I am in the funnel. It's my system, and it's called the Diamond Rising deck, and we're going to get to that really, really soon. We're going to do some great training on that deck. But my first message is really gentle, and it's just a quick check-in message, just like the lady at the art school gave me this afternoon. And then you're off and running. Now you just plop them right into your prospecting funnel, and you build the relationship, and it might take you a year to run them through that entire funnel, and that's totally okay. Totally okay. Maybe you run them through the funnel in a week because they're just eager and hungry for those answers. And maybe it takes a long time, and that's all right. It's not a race. It's a relationship, and you're building it piece by piece. How do you give the people you run into a purple bag before you get their contact information? Sometimes I do. I got to kind of gauge that conversation. If they really seem interested and they really want more information, like there was a lady I ran into at Longhorn Steakhouse a couple of weeks ago. And she makes lotions. Like, it's just one of the things she does for fun on the side. And I said, dude, you use essential oils in your lotion. She goes, yeah, but I've been looking for a really good non-toxic essential oil because I know that they're not all the same. I was like, we need to talk. Like we need to talk. And for her, yeah, I gave her a purple bag because she was like, yeah, give me your information. I will come to your classes. I want to learn all about this. She was on fire from the get-go. So, and then there might be somebody at Walmart that's like, I don't know. And so for them, I might just hand them a Game Plan Mini and say, when you're on your lunch break, just take a peek at this. It's like a 15-minute read. I just want to give you some hope because I worked in retail for 12 years and I know what this feels like. Like I No. There was another lady in Nordstrom, an example that I gave from Unstuck. I've only been in Nordstrom one time in my whole life, guys. I'm like a Walmart Aldi shopper. But I was in there to get my dress for the Diamond Gala because all my silvers loved on me and wanted me to get something really nice when I ranked up. So I was in there, and this lady, all I did was give her stress away. I just gave her my bottle of stress away because she was having a rough day. And that led to 4 starter kit sales. Her and all of the cashiers all end up getting starter kits. So, and it was just that act of just giving her a little bit of what I had, just rubbing it on her skin. So do I ever lead with the business? Not usually. And it's kind of weird as a diamond, and especially somebody coming from poverty, you would think I would lead with the business. But most of the people, even most of my silvers, I've only had 1 or 2 people that actually got into Young Living for the business. Most of it get in because of the products. And so because that's the majority, that tends to be what I lead with. But I always drop the business in the first class. Always, always, always. I'm just doing that little tease on the business, but I'm not necessarily leading with it. All right, let's see what else we want to get into here. So chapter 14, you're telling me to do some things that I've already tried. Young Living is actually really easy to share with people because you've got 100% market share. Everybody needs oils. Everybody, right? Everybody gets colds. Like everybody needs oils for their skin. Everybody needs to de-stress. Everybody needs oils every single day. And so when I see people jump ship for another MLM, I'm like, shoo, this is so much easier than sharing pots and pans and leggings and supplements and all that kind of stuff. Like with 450 diamonds and thousands of platinums and golds and silvers, you know there's got to be a way to share this product or it wouldn't be possible because you got 600 products to share. And every year they keep coming out with more products constantly. So then the issue isn't the product because we all have the same product. The issue is how you're being perceived. And I truly believe that your greatest struggle is not that Young Living or that network marketing is a farce. It's not. It's a very viable business model. Your greatest struggle is in your head. It's up here. You do have it in you. You do. But sometimes the hardest places to preach are right in Nazareth. It's to your own circle. It's to your own friends and your own family. And maybe you're too timid and shy or fearful to get outside of your circle. But I want you to know you do have this in you, just as those that have gone before you. So I will tell you, if you're not teaching, you're not going to rank up. And in some way, I'm not saying do in-person classes. That's the only way to rank up. That's the way that I built my diamond ship, but it's absolutely not the only way to build to diamond. There are a lot of ways to build to diamond. There's a lot of ways to get from point A to point B. But if you're not out there connecting with human beings, your OGV is going to do this or it's going to tank, okay? It's almost always, when people's OGV is not grown over the course of a year, I can almost always pinpoint it to them not teaching classes or having no show. So they're not actually connecting with people. Even though they're out there trying to teach a class, nobody shows up. That's the equivalent of not teaching, right? Not teaching. So she just said, somebody just typed teach your classes anyway. Let me give you a precursor to that. Teach your classes any way that can be duplicated. All right, any way that can be duplicated. If you're doing things that can't be copied, then that's not going to find business builders for you. So, all right, where did I leave off here? The issue is how you are being perceived. You got to get outside of your circle, and you do have this in you, just as those that have gone before you. All right. So if your OGV is not moving, it means you're not teaching. If you want to rank up this year, you've got to get out there and you've got to hit the pavement, whether it's in-person classes, vendor events, textable classes, Zoom classes, social media classes like Instagram, Facebook. I'm going to train you so well on all of those classes. Just the in-person classes, we have a 30-page chapter to go through just for that one class because 70% of people in Young Living that are building businesses build with that method. So we hit that very, very hard. So you got to pick one of those that works for you and keep doing it again and again and again and again. But no matter what you pick, you've got to lay that foundation of relationship every single day to get people there first. Otherwise, that room is going to be empty. Now that said, if you have tried every nugget of wisdom on holding classes and you have deliberately focused on every single type of market and you have tried every single type of class and you are still getting 0 results and you're doing it again and again and again and again and again and it's 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, then it's time to pause and focus on personal development for a little bit because you have to be a leader that's going to attract people to you. What pushes people away? This is one of my favorite paragraphs in the whole book. I love this section. What pushes people away? And I want you to really do a solid self-evaluation of what in you think is pushing people away from you. This is totally new content. We've never talked about it in Game Plan before. It might be your tongue. It could be negativity. It could be sarcasm. It could be despair. It might be your demeanor and how you're speaking to people. Your body language might be communicating that you do not care about the person that you're talking to. You might come across as indifferent to the person that you're speaking to. You might have no fire at all. Like you just flatline. You've been doing this 10 years and you're just ready for the rank. Like, when is the rank going to come? You're irritated that it's taking so long to rank. And so when people check in with you, all they see is that cloud of irritation, and they have to get through that to get to the heart of why you're actually doing this business. You might be putting your distributors to sleep when you talk because you just have no passion. It's wah, 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 wah. It might be weariness. When you teach, you're just weary, you're just exhausted, and people don't want weariness in their life, and that's all they can see when they see you, and so they don't really want that. They're kind of stepping back from you. It might be controversial media posts. If you're posting political posts, religious posts, medical posts, condescending posts, you might have noticed I don't really post a lot about my son and the vaccine issue because that is a huge dividing wall. My sister is an RN. My best friend is an RN. They administer vaccines every single day of their lives. I don't want that big brick wall to go up between my sister and between me and my friend. I don't want to push people away that I poured into that don't know a lot about me by putting political, divisive things on my page, on my social media pages, because those pages don't really belong to you anymore once you start doing network marketing. That's how people are sizing you up. And so you don't want to use that as a platform to spew all of your views, right? You got to be very, very, very careful how offensive some of those things are to people. I know, and especially the religion stuff is very difficult for me. I'm pretty upfront about being a Christian woman, but at the same time, I have beautiful Wiccans on my team. I have beautiful, an amazing Muslim leg on my team, and I love those women like my sisters. We have a huge group of lesbians, transgendered, gays, on our team. And some of them are some of my closest friends. So I want them to know I'm never going to make you feel like less of a person because of what you believe, because of where you stand. You know where I stand, and we're not going to hash that out unless you come to me and that door's open and you're asking me questions. I'm never going to shove what I believe down your throat, right? You don't need that from me. What you need is somebody that's going to train you how to use oils, that's going to love on you unconditionally, that's always going to be there for you. And so that's the message I want to convey on my page, right? A lot of people are drawn to this page that do not believe in Christianity. And that's, for me, means a lot, right? It means a lot to me that you can learn from somebody who is a Christian, because I'm not going to push you into a corner and say you're less of a human being because you don't believe the way that I believe, right? And so keep that in mind when you are posting on your personal pages, because you might be pushing people away that you've really heavily invested in. And I don't know, if you are a Christian, there's just something in me that just doesn't think that's the way that Jesus would treat people, right? When you look back in the New Testament and you're studying the New Testament, he treated everybody equally. He treated the woman at the well, the prostitute, the tax collectors, the people who were swindling people. All of us do things that are wrong. All of us sin, and one person's sin isn't any worse than another person's sin. And so I can't put that between me and the people that I'm trying to reach. So you guys know where I stand. You know what my belief system is, but that's never going to stand in the way of my relationship and my friendship with you. And so one of the things that you can do when you're building your own pages, your own social media pages, is not distancing yourself from the people that really truly might not believe the same way that you believe. Some of the strongest relationships and the best friendships that I've forged are with people that have completely different viewpoints than me. And if we sat down and had a religious debate, we probably wouldn't agree on anything. But you know what? I choose as a Christian woman to put that on a shelf and love through that, because my relationship with them is so much more important to me. That ability to speak into them and to have that window of communication is so much more important to me than sitting down and fighting and arguing on all of the things that we don't agree on. Right? And so just consider that when you're posting on your pages. Ellen says, I don't want to push people away, but it's such a huge part of who I am. My faith is a huge part of who I am too. I love Jesus with all of my heart. I love him so much. I got saved when I was a little girl. I got saved again when I was 19 years old, deep saved. I worked for ministry for 12 years, but I don't ever want that to define me to the point where I can't have 100 Wiccans on my team and 300 beautiful Muslim women on my team and deeply respect where they are in their journey, right? That's just what I have to say about that. We could go on about faith for a really long time, but I just want you to know that loving people, I think, is the deeper, more important message. Because, if the Lord wants me to speak into them, they will come to me and they will open that door. And if they open that door, then I'm there and I will be there. But I'm not going to force that on them, right? They'll always know where I am. So, all right, consider that when you guys are building your own pages, because you have to have that foundation of relationship every single day to get people there. Otherwise, that room is going to be empty, right? It's going to be empty. So you look at every single person without judgment, without any just, discernment. Oh, they're black, I can't talk to them, right? Because I'm here and they're here. Or they're white, I can't talk to them because I'm here and they're here, right? I just don't believe in that kind of language. I just don't believe in it. I don't believe in it from any faith base, any religious base, any of that. And so if you are standing in that place where you're speaking to them out of compassion, out of authenticity, out of rawness, how are people perceiving you when you are talking to them, okay? And are they seeing the love of Christ in you, right? They got to see that glow and that joy coming from you no matter where you stand. So, all right, but it all goes back to classes, and you're not going to attract people to you if you are posting things that are very divisive, right? It might be a lack of confidence. I don't think that they're going to buy anything, and so here's a whole bunch of free stuff just in case. If you're going into your classes thinking that they're going to walk away doing nothing, then that's what they're going to walk away doing, right? Don't ever go into that. Don't ever go into that. People are not going to follow indecision. They're not going to follow weakness. You get around that by using scripts and training your brain for confidence, all right? If you're in that place where leading questions and building relationships isn't working, and you've handed out 170 samples and you have no kit sales, then we got to train your brain in the right language and in the right facial expressions so that you magnetically draw people to you. You do that by caring more for them than you do for yourself, right? And for that, I rely on the network marketing geniuses to get my head into the right place. So Jim Rohn, Brandon Burchard, Dale Carnegie, Eric Worre, John Maxwell, Tony Robbins, Mel Robbins, Hal Elrod, Stephen Covey, Richard Bliss-Brooke, Bob Kiyosaki, and any young living diamond. Any young living diamond. There's no young living diamond that I would not follow, okay? They've done it. Right? You want to follow people that have results. So my big thing though is just don't spend more than you make. Don't go drop $2,000 on a training session when your star paycheck is $80 a month. Like, that's not good financial stewardship. So what I do is start with the free stuff. Go to YouTube and just start getting some of that stuff. Jim Rohn has got more stuff that you could listen to on YouTube than you could probably listen to in a year, right, while you're ranking up. So, just get some of that stuff in your head. Live within the boundaries and borders of your budget. Don't overextend yourself. And start training your tongue in some of that confident speech and some of that mindset training. And just kind of get lost in that for a while, because it might come back to how people are perceiving you. If they're looking at you as sarcastic or negative or just no confidence, no passion, you got to get yourself to a place where you can emulate that. Whether you believe it or not, you can still speak with confidence if you get trained correctly, right? You get trained correctly. So even though I'm known for leadership training, like that's people hear my name and they connect leadership training with that. I'll also tell you that no network marketer is successful without action, right? You got to gauge where you're at in your business. If you're in despair and you haven't had results in a really, really long time, then focus only on training your brain, maybe for 30 days, until you notice a change in your own speech, your own perspectives, your own vision. If leadership training is slowing you down, teach classes. Better yet, do them both. Like, do them side by side. If you watch 15 videos and you're never out there teaching classes, then leader training is a distraction for you, because leader training is not an income producing activity, right? I said it. I said it out loud. It's not an income producing activity. Teaching classes, getting people on essential rewards, and training your leaders, those are income producing activities. Leader training is getting you to a place where you can do those three things. And it is valuable and has a place and a purpose, but it's not actually going to lead to OGV growth for you. You have to get out there and you have to teach. You have to connect with people, build relationships to be able to see the fruit of your labor, all right? I want to show you This is my sister. This is Rachel. And I opened the book up. Yeah, that's chocolate all over her face. She was trying to teach people about the seedlings line. And all right, anyway, I always use this picture and she gets really mad at me because there's going to be like 100,000 people that watch these videos. So this is my way of getting back at my sister for like 40 years of being my sister. I'll put a better picture up here. There you go. She's actually truly beautiful. And there is little Ruthie. She is my little niece and she just turned 1 year old. They're just absolutely precious. But Rachel has had over 103 no-show classes, 103. And she is getting very, very close to platinum rank. She's a gold in Young Living. And despite that, 103 no-show classes. So how on earth did she build to gold with having that many no-show classes? Then understand, she kept building relationships, connecting with people. You know, she had a no-show class, she'd practice the script, she'd lay a deeper foundation. And so it'd be no-show, one person sign, no-show, one person sign. My sister is what I would classify as a super green personality. So that warmth and compassion doesn't always come across on the other side. And it's really hard for her to build relationships. So we worked on training her tongue so that she sounded compassionate, even though she's like, I could care less. Like, if they don't do this, like, I don't care. I'm like, actually, you do care, because that's the protection of your daughter, right? So speak to that one place where you do care, like find that little pocket of compassion in there. And this is the sentence that I would use because they're going to perceive it as compassion, right? And so one of my favorite sentences that we worked on together was, I think this is the answer that you're looking for, right? So for her, it's the solution to the problem of her building her downline. And to them, they're saying, oh, this woman actually really, truly cares about me, right? Even though she really doesn't care about them, right? But she just, even using that sentence, it's just those little sparks of one person here, one person here, one person here. It grew her team to an 80,000 plus OGV. Right? Because she never gave up. She kept building, brick by brick by brick by brick by brick. All right, last thing I want to talk about is fear, and this is in chapter 15, and I love this chapter. Absolutely love this chapter. Oh, my greens are coming out. I love my greens. I don't have a drop of green at all, but I love to learn from my green friends because you guys are just the best at systems and following through and doing what you say you're going to do and routines, and that to me as a blue means the world. So let's talk about fear here for a little bit, and then we're going to wrap up, and I won't see you again until Monday, and we're going to hit 5 more days next week, but you get a little 2-day breather to catch your breath and do as little or as much homework as you want, but don't feel like you have to be 100% caught up to jump in on Monday, all right? So fear is your biggest problem. If you're stuck, is really not a lack of knowledge about oils or a lack of network marketing training. It's fear. Once you find a way to break through fear, you can build a legacy income that's going to last for generations for your family. As I stated earlier in this book, Young Living is like baking a cake one time and your great grandkids benefit from the sale of that one cake because you've laid the foundation that's getting passed down. That's how network marketing works. That's residual income, right? That the work that I did 5 years ago is still paying me. It's still in my paycheck even right now. So if you're putting all of your time into training and none of your time into implementing classes, then you're not going to see growth in Young Living or in any other network marketing business. It doesn't matter what network marketing business that you do because they all require the same skill set. That's what we're training on at Unstuck is skill set. So jumping to the next network marketing company is not going to solve the problem for you because you're still carrying the same fear that you had when you tackled Young Living. It's not an issue with your upline, saturation, friend circles, time, training, or any other reason because you and you alone dictate the growth of your business. Only you. And I know if I could give you one tip that would help you rank up this month, even in January as we're doing this, it would be to fill your calendar with classes. You guys have heard me say this before. If that's the only thing that you get from this book is connecting with human beings, going back to the things that got you the rank in the first place, then I will feel like this boot camp has been well spent. It doesn't matter what type of class. It doesn't matter what you call it. It doesn't matter how you deliver it. You got to get oils on people's hands, in people's bodies, and that is how you grow this business, right? That's how you grow. So if a week goes by and nobody in your home has been oiled, or you haven't had a single conversation online or in person, I can link that with no-show classes. You're not building the relationships necessary to draw people to class. So fear, what's my message for you when it comes to fear? You're not going to like it. Do things that scare you. Do them deliberately because you know that's what you need to do to get over your fear of sharing. Right? Do them on purpose. And so that's the one skill that you have to master to build an empire that's going to bless your family and change thousands of people's lives. So if your fear is speaking, go speak. If your fear is closing, go close. If your fear is rejection, go get rejected 200 times until it doesn't sting anymore, right? You got to go do the things that scare you so that you get to a place where you're like, shoot, that isn't that bad. Man, I've been rejected 200 times, 300 times. Now I'm going to go to the next person. You have it in you to build this business because you've done harder things in your life. Most of you guys are moms, all right? You pushed this out of like this, right? I went there. I did. I said it. It's crazy. You've done really, really hard things. Like Young Living is hard, but it is not as hard as delivering a child. I did it 5 times. That was really, really stinking hard, right? So stop saying that this is hard because it falls into the category of excuses. It's not too hard for you. You're just paralyzed by fear and by doubt. So I'm going to end this with a story tonight because it's something that just it really speaks deeply to my heart. I was the accidental business builder. I mean, my husband saw this business 6 months. He saw it 2 years before I saw it. I mean, I had significant Young Living paychecks coming in and I still did not see the business. I just wanted to get my oils for free. I had no intentions of stopping anchoring news. And so when I first started, I knew that if I sold 3 kits or if I shared oils with 3 people, there you go, Judy, that I would make back what I spent with my starter kit. And I wanted to get on Essential Rewards because I saw the oils work and we only had $20 a week to live on, so I couldn't get on ER out of my regular budget. So I figured, well, all right, I'll teach a couple classes just so I can get on ER. And my check was $340 and then $800 and then $1,200 and it just kept growing and growing. And I'm just like, woohoo, I get my $100 for ER. This is awesome. And John's like, you know what? You're making $3,000 a month. I'll give you $300. You can do the whole $300. I didn't know he's taking $2,700 and paying off bills and paying off student loans and paying all the things off, paying for our son to go to the special school that he was in for the year. I had no idea. I was just super happy that he was letting me get my ER order every month. So the check came in, it was direct deposited. John Harnish took care of it and bam, like I was placing my order and I was super happy, right? I told you it was about 12 weeks when we hit silver and 5 months after that we hit gold because I'm just out there teaching a class a week. I'm just connecting with people because all I want to do is get my ER order. That's it. Just get my ER order. And finally, John's like, what are you doing? Are you selling the Fountain of Youth? Like, what's up? Do you know your check has surpassed your full-time job anchoring news? The job at that time that I'd had for 18 years, the job you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning for every single day, 52 weeks a year, the one that you kill yourself over 40 to 60 hours a week. You're working 2 hours a week over here and that 2 hours is making you more than what you're doing anchoring news. And then you're coming home every day and you're exhausted and you're trying to homeschool our 5 kids and you have nothing left. Like, so now I'm at a fork in the road because I never wanted to leave my job. That's not why I got into Young Living. It wasn't to build a business. I had a really cool job. I was a very famous news anchor on a morning show on a radio network that spanned 5 million people across multiple states and even up into Canada. I was famous and I had prayed for that job for 11 years. And then now I'm sitting here and God's opening all these doors to do Young Living. And I'm like, what? I don't want to, what? No, like all right, be a famous news anchor, sell Young Living oils, right? Famous news anchor, sell Young Living oils. And I realized, first off, it was ego. And secondly, like I was afraid. I was afraid that Young Living wouldn't pan out. I was afraid in leaving my job. I was afraid of network marketing. I was afraid of the stigma of being labeled as a network marketer, as a salesperson. I was afraid of people running away from me in the hallways. Like I was so afraid. It was crazy how afraid I was. And I'm like, no, I think I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. So I did. I kept anchoring through silver. I kept anchoring till I was a gold. I kept anchoring till I was a platinum. And finally, John's like, come on. Like, what are you doing? This is stupid. You now you're making like 5 times what you're making anchoring news and you're still getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and killing yourself and you're depleted for our kids. And what is going on? Sarah, maybe you have a knack for this. And I was like, I don't care. Like be a famous news anchor, sell Young Living oil. And so after a couple of years of John Harnish trying so hard to speak into me and seeing the checks coming in, and I'm just teaching my class a week. I got my ER order for free. Oh, I'm like super happy. I'm a platinum and I'm stoked that I have my ER order for free, right? Like that's where my head is. Guys, I was dumb as a box of rocks, okay? Like, I did not get how this network marketing thing worked. You guys are all smarter than me. Every single person watching this boot camp, you have some understanding of how network marketing works. Like, I was completely lost. All I knew is that if I taught a class, I got my oils for free. And that was it, all the way to platinum. Like, I know I'm going on silver retreat. I'm like, woohoo, this is fun. Back to anchoring news, going to the gold retreat. Oh, this is awesome. Back to anchoring news, right? Like, I did not get it. And one day I was sitting in the newsroom, and some of you guys have heard this story, but I know many of you haven't, so I'm going to share it because it's a really cool story. I'm sitting in the newsroom, and I had a really bad case of writer's block. So this is actually me in the newsroom. That's the board I was at. That's actually the counter that my intern was sitting at. And I'm sitting there, and the teleprompter's there and all that. And I just had a really bad case of writer's block. I just couldn't think to write the newscast. And so it's like 2 minutes to 7, and I'm about to go live in front of 5 million people. And I have an intern shadowing me, and she is literally breaking out in a cold sweat. She's got sweat dripping down her neck. And she said, Sarah, you're talking to 5 million people in like literally 2 minutes, and you don't have anything. It's a white sheet of paper. And I looked up and I saw on CNN, it was a story I wanted to do, and I just couldn't figure out the words to get into it. Got a spark of creativity, started writing, and I wrote 10 stories, and I grabbed 7 pieces of tape in literally 90 seconds. I mean, I'm just pounding it out. And the stinger goes off. That's my musical cue that it's time to start talking. I'm still writing the last story. I'm typing it. I'm talking. I'm reading. I'm watching my egg timer. I'm watching breaking news. I'm looking at the morning show. Bam, all the way down. I've got to be out. I didn't have time to time it out. I got to be out at exactly 4 minutes. I look down as I'm ending the newscast. It is 4:00. And I turned my mic off, and I said, Mahmoud, I'm a Dinny shot with no mistakes. Turn my microphone off, and I am totally ego tripping. Like, I mean, big time. I leaned back, I was like, we made it. Check it out. That was awesome. And I'm on an adrenaline high because I just made that by the skin of my pants. And nobody on the other side of the microphone had any idea how tight that was. And then we almost did not have a newscast. I mean, millions of people. And I look over at Lindsay, and she's looking at me. And I've got this egotistical look on my face. And I look over, and she has a totally different look on her face. And she looks at me, she goes, Sarah, you're doing the wrong thing with your life. You are not supposed to be here. I said, what do you mean I'm not supposed to be here? Like, shoot, that was really hard. She goes, yeah, that's exactly what I mean. What you just did, that would have taken me 3 hours to do that. You could have done that in your sleep. She said, God is always calling us to be stretched beyond our comfort zone, and you are way too comfortable in here. She said, I don't know if God's brought anything else to your plate or shown you any other open doors, but you are definitely doing the wrong thing with your life. Like, you're not supposed to be here. You're in the wrong place. And she got up. This 19-year-old intern, I am 41 years old. This 19-year-old intern turns around and walks out the door, and I've got this like knife in between my shoulders, just thinking, I was like, stupid 19-year-old intern. Like, she doesn't know. Or she hasn't done this for 2 decades, so she doesn't understand, what comes to, I was so mad. And so I go home and I go, John, do you know what my 19-year-old intern told me today? She told me I'm doing the wrong thing with my life. And she's like, is there anything else that God has put in front of you? We're platinums in Young Living, okay? And I still don't see the business. And John just sitting there, he's like, I was like, she told me I'm not supposed to be anchoring news anymore. He's like, She said, has God brought anything else to your door? And John's like, I don't know what that could be. I don't know. Maybe the thing you're making a platinum income with, right? Hello. And I'm like, I'm supposed to quit my job. And he's like, yeah, I've been telling you that for 2 years. Like, hello. And so I went in the next day and I did the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. The thing I was most afraid of more than anything else, letting this job go that was security for me. It was identity for me. I told myself that was the only thing I knew how to do. That I could be a mom, I could pick underwear up off the floor, I could wash my dishes, and I could write a newscast in my sleep. Like, that was all I was good at. I wasn't good at standing in front of people. I didn't even like speaking. I wasn't good at that. I like writing. I like performing. With news, you got the script in front of your face, like nobody's looking at me. That was my comfort zone. I did not want to stand in front of people and sell essential oils, right? Didn't want to do it. And God said, oh, really? Don't want to, huh? Well, that's exactly the place that he took my feet. And so, do you know what happened once I trusted the Lord? I love this part of the story. I walked in, I quit my job. I still anchor once a month. I'm actually going to anchor in a couple of weeks. Now I drive from North Carolina to New York to do it because it's in my blood, but I do it because it's fun. It's like gardening or running for me, not because I have to. I do it out of sheer love for the news team. But 8 weeks after I quit my position, I hit my next rank. 8 weeks later, because that huge distraction of 40 hours a week and not getting enough sleep, my adrenal glands started to heal. All these things that the Lord had for me, but I love what you said, Simone, time to get uncomfortable. I just didn't want to get uncomfortable. I wanted to stay in my routine and what I knew and what I was comfortable with. And you know what? God's like, but I have so much more for you. If you just let go of what you're holding on to so tightly, Sarah, you don't trust me. Remember we talked about the first night, right? You got to hold on to everything so tightly, and I can't work in that space because you don't give me any space to work. Sometimes our fear gets in the way of the plans that the Lord has for us. His plans are so much bigger. Like Royal Crown Diamond is it's going to do so many things for your life, guys. Diamond is going to do so many things for your life. Platinum is going to do so many things for your life. The number of people that are going to be impacted by you standing over your fear, it's going to change everything for you. So you just picture your biggest dream, and I guarantee you God can outdream that dream. Because he's the one that just with a breath created life, right? He created the stars in the sky, and he can carry your Young Living business. He can carry all those things that you're afraid of, your identity, the loss of the income, trusting if network marketing is going to work. Can you sustain it? Can you build it? He can give you the strength to continue pursuing it. He's already moving chess pieces on the board right now for you without you even realizing it. So maybe you are afraid of a loss of identity, but the truth is that your identity is in him. It's not in any title. It's not in the letters after your name. It's not in anything that you're good at. It's not in anything you do. It's not in being a mom. For me, it's not in being a news anchor. It's not even in being a Young Living Diamond. It's not in being an author and writing books. It's not in having a social media audience. That does not define me. All those things could be gone in a half a breath, and it still doesn't define me. What defines me is my relationship with God. Right? Your identity is not in how other people see you and how they describe you or how you describe yourself. So if you're keeping Christ as your focal point, there is no loss of identity, and there is no fear when you're walking through that open door that God has put right in front of you, because it is a door that leads to freedom. He has plans to prosper you. He has plans to do better for you than where you are right now, but not if you're not going to move. If you stay where you are, you're going to be where you are 12 months from now. If you're not connecting with people, you're not building relationships, you're not laying that foundation to stop the no-show classes, you're not making contacts with people, you're not running them through the funnel, you're not prospecting, you're not closing, you're not doing all the things that you know are going to grow your business, you're not going to grow your team, right? You're not. You have to do those things. You can't wait for the big rock star to join your team and carry your whole OGV for you. You need 5 other legs, right? One rock star is not going to do it because you got to do it. It's up to you. You got to do the things that you're scared of. So until you get out there and you start teaching classes, you're not going to rank up. You're not going to rank up. You got to do those things that scare you and talk to the people that you don't know, right? And collect contact information and reach out to your warm market and reach out to your cold market and build that foundation of relationship. That is how you rank. That's how you rank. And in ranking, there's freedom, right? So what's my advice? Jump. Go jump. Walk away from your comfort zone. Step into something that totally scares you. If you're not scared, you're too comfortable. You're too comfortable. So step out of habits, step out of routine. Every day that you are frustrated, he's still faithful. I love that, Chris. You got to be the rock star first. Yes, exactly, right? Every day you're frustrated, he's still faithful. So when I was at that fork in the road, I dared God. Fine. You know what? Bring me to a place with oils where I can still use my writing. Bring me to a place with oils where I can still use my speaking. And God's like, wait for it. And then 1.5 million books later, game plan, 4 million fearless books later, bam, right? God's like, Sarah, don't you trust me? Don't you trust that I'm not going to waste the seed that I planted? You are so chicken butt, right? That you won't move. So how do I get over fear? I live every single day knowing that my future is not contingent on me. It's contingent by a great big God that loves me more than anything else that I know. It's ordained by a God that loves me more than anybody else that I know. And so it's easy to move when your future will be brighter and better than where you are right now if you start doing some of these things that you're afraid of. If you stop holding on so tightly to what you're comfortable with, because the leap is worth it. So where am I at right now? Well, I'm not up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I get 8 to 10 hours of sleep every single night, 52 weeks a year. I get to travel with my teenagers and see them build relationships with people that have the right mindset and speech and focus. I've got time for personal development, self-care. I just did a nice walk with my husband tonight. You know, it's awesome. I took a nap this afternoon. I have time with friends in countries all over the world. The stress of finances is off my plate. My husband and I are closer than we have ever been because I get to go on dates with him and enjoy him and not be stressed all the time. I get to spend the rest of my life watching miracles happen every single day, especially the miracle of my leaders and especially the miracle of you guys ranking up. I get to hear your stories of freedom because I wasn't afraid. And I'm so glad that I took that leap. I'm so glad I did the things that scared me. So you get out there, hashtag chicken butt. You guys are so funny. You get out there and you go do the things that scare you, right? Stand on top of fear. Because you have it in you. You have it in you to do amazing, great things. So what are we going to cover next week? The key to growth, how to get people to respond to you, 101, and perfect persistence. 7 to 15 conversations is what it takes for that starter kit. It's a lot of work, but it works. So if you don't have your book, you can snag this on Amazon. I'm going to spend all day tomorrow finishing Audible and getting that uploaded, but it does take about 2 weeks for them to accept it. The workbook, this custom fits all the training to you. We're going to do training on a funnel next week, so you do not want to miss the training next week. And if you miss anything at all you got to do is go to oilabilityteam.com. So right here, oilabilityteam.com, looks like this. Click on Unstuck. It's going to take you to the Unstuck page, and all things Unstuck are on this page, all right? You can see the book. All the boot camp days are collected every single day. All the videos, you can click on them in one spot. You can share them with your team. Super, super easy to be able to do boot camp and duplicate it with your team. We also launched a new button at the bottom for leaders leading the boot camps. And we're constantly throwing content on there, but there's countdown graphics for you to lead your own Unstuck boot camps. There's, as you're actually doing the boot camp, there's counters for that as well. We're gonna have leading sentences, so you don't even have to think about it. It's all on that page, and it's free. We have so many more free things coming, so many more. So you guys have a great weekend. Thank you for hanging out with me. This was a pretty hard topic tonight. We're talking about fear, but it's not beyond you. I know you can do it. You can do the things that are tricky in network marketing because I don't know anything else that's going to get you out of where you are. Like this, I know because I'm living it. This I know works, but not if you don't start making those relationships with people. Not if you don't pick up the phone and follow up with them. Not if you don't do those things, those awkward, creepy things, collecting information, calling strangers. Like until you can get past that stuff, you're just going to stay right here, right? And there won't be any rank up for you until you lay that foundation of relationship and then consistently share oils, right? Relationship, share oils. That's how you rank up. I love you guys. Have an amazing, restful weekend. No videos this weekend. And we'll jump right back into it on Monday. Or if you're not watching the live videos and you want to go binge watch them, you can go watch them all on the website and take it as fast or as slow as you want with your teams. You have an amazing, amazing couple days of rest, and I'll catch you on the other side on day 6. Bye.